Attention passionate San Francisco 49ers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on San Francisco 49ers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true San Francisco 49ers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and San Francisco 49ers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that things are heating up in the NFC West, and the San Francisco 49ers are right at the heart of the storm. The 49ers, as we all know, have been building a formidable team, especially on offense, with players like Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and their dynamic quarterback, Brock Purdy, leading the charge. But what's really catching attention now is the wider picture: potential moves, strategic shifts, and how these could redefine the division and the conference as a whole. And today, we're diving deep into a story that might seem like just rumors or speculation, but in reality, it could have huge implications for the 49ers and their immediate rivals. We're talking about the possibility of the San Francisco 49ers trading away one of their key receivers, Jauan Jennings, to a team like the New England Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, you heard that right. The NFL is all about the next move, the next trade, and how teams are constantly adjusting their rosters to stay competitive. Jauan Jennings, the 28-year-old receiver who's been a real force for the 49ers, especially last season, has been under the radar for many fans. But for those who follow the team closely, Jennings has always played bigger than his stats. Last year, he put up a career-high 975 receiving yards, despite a season riddled with injuries. That's no small feat, considering the injuries to key players like George Kittle, who's been battling a hamstring issue, and the overall physical toll on the team. Jennings has shown he's capable of stepping up when it matters, often making clutch plays, winning contested catches, and providing that gritty, dependable presence that Kyle Shanahan loves to deploy in critical moments. But as we look ahead, there's a lot of chatter about whether the 49ers might consider moving on from Jennings, especially if they get a solid offer or if the team's long-term plans shift. Now, that's where it gets interesting because, according to some NFL insiders, there's speculation about the Patriots and the Chiefs being potential suitors. And why wouldn't they be? Both teams have been hunting for reliable weapons, especially as they navigate their seasons. The Patriots, with their wide receiver depth chart, have a lot of options, but they're still trying to find consistency at that position. Hunter Henry has been a bright spot as a tight end, and players like Stefon Diggs have been targeted heavily, but they're always looking for that next reliable receiver to add depth and explosiveness. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs, as we all know, are always looking to refine their offense, especially with Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball. A player like Jennings, who's shown he can produce over the past season, could be just the piece they need to add more versatility to their receiving core. But the big question here is, what are the 49ers asking for in return? Well, some reports suggest that a trade for Jennings could involve a future fourth-round pick, maybe a fifth-rounder in 2027. It's not a blockbuster deal, but in today's NFL, draft picks are often the currency of choice, especially for a player who's a free agent at the end of the season. Now, let's talk about the risks involved. The 49ers are in a bit of a tricky situation, especially with some injuries on the roster. Jennings suffered a shoulder injury against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 1, which has raised some eyebrows. Plus, George Kittle's hamstring issue adds to the challenge of holding onto their core offensive weapons. If they do decide to trade Jennings, it's likely because they believe they have enough depth, or perhaps because they're confident in their younger receivers like Ricky Pearsall, who's been impressing in camp and early games. Pearsall has shown flashes of being a consistent playmaker, and if he continues to develop, the team might see him as a future star. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. The 49ers have one of the most balanced teams in the league, with a defense that can shut down almost anyone and an offense that's capable of explosive plays. The decision to move Jennings could be strategic, aimed at freeing up cap space or acquiring future assets to bolster other positions. And that's the beauty of NFL roster management. Sometimes you have to make tough choices for the long-term success of the team. Now, looking at the NFC West, the division is more competitive than ever. The Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals are all trying to find their footing, but the 49ers, with their current roster, are still seen as favorites to win the division. But if they lose a key player like Jennings and do not replace him effectively, or if injuries continue to pile up, their edge could be compromised. That's why the front office is probably weighing all options carefully, balancing the immediate needs with future considerations. And speaking of the season as a whole, the 49ers are aiming for another deep playoff run, possibly even a Super Bowl appearance. They have everything it takes: talent, coaching, and the right mindset. But NFL seasons are unpredictable, and depth at receiver can make all the difference. The team's success often hinges on how well they adapt to injuries and how versatile their offense can be. Jennings' role last year was crucial, especially in tight games, and losing that could impact their offensive rhythm. Now let's pause for a moment because I want to make sure you're really engaged here. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest San Francisco 49ers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. This kind of insider information, rumors, and strategic analysis is what makes following the NFL so exciting. Every move, every trade, every injury can shift the balance, and the 49ers are right in the middle of it all. They're a team constantly trying to stay ahead of the curve, whether that's through player development, strategic acquisitions, or tactical roster management. And speaking of the team's future, don't forget that the 49ers have a young quarterback in Brock Purdy, who has been developing rapidly. His leadership and decision-making have been impressive, and he's shown he can handle the pressure of leading a championship-caliber team. With a solid offensive line and a developing receiving core, the future looks bright. That's why any trade involving a player like Jennings would be carefully considered, because they're building something special, and they want to maximize every asset they have. Furthermore, the coaching staff, led by Shanahan, is known for its innovative offensive schemes and ability to adapt to different situations. They've shown a knack for getting the most out of their players and making adjustments on the fly. So, if the team does decide to trade Jennings, it's not a sign of weakness, but a calculated move designed to keep the team competitive and flexible for whatever challenges lie ahead. Now, for the fans, this is more than just rumors. It's about positioning for a championship, about making those critical decisions that can define a franchise's legacy. The 49ers have a storied history, with 5 Super Bowl titles and a reputation for resilience and excellence. Their current roster is one of the most talented they've had in years, and they're hungry for another shot at the big game. So whether Jennings stays or goes, the team's overall strategy remains focused on contention, on fighting every step of the way to bring that 6th Lombardi trophy back to San Francisco. And I know many of you are wondering, what's next? Well, keep an eye on the trade deadline, which is fast approaching. The 49ers will likely monitor all options, including injury reports, roster needs, and market value. They might decide that trading Jennings makes sense if they get a good draft pick or a promising player in return, or they might hold on to him if they believe he can still be a vital part of their playoff push. Either way, it's an exciting time for 49ers fans, because every decision made now could shape the franchise's future for years to come. In conclusion, this story about Jauan Jennings and the potential trade rumors isn't just about one player. It's about the strategic chess game that NFL teams play every season, balancing short-term success with long-term planning. The 49ers are at a crossroads, and whatever happens, it will be fascinating to see how it unfolds. Will Jennings stay and continue to be a key piece? Or will he be part of a move that helps the team strengthen in other areas? One thing's for sure, the NFC West is more competitive than ever, and the 49ers are determined to stay at the top. And now, San Francisco 49ers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. so stay tuned for the latest San Francisco 49ers news. Keep supporting your team, keep the passion alive, and let's get ready for what promises to be an incredible season. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next update.